Welcome to this tutorial on finding scholarly articles in theology and related disciplines. In this video, I will discuss locating articles in the BC Library Catalog, library databases, bibliographies, and through citation tracing in Google Scholar. If you have spent time on the BC Library's website, or library catalog as it is otherwise called, you will likely have seen that you can search for articles using the basic and advanced search features. The articles that you retrieve by searching through either of these features are available in full text electronically and are part of an index that the libraries have purchased. There is a lot of high-quality content that you can access in this way, but it is important to keep in mind that it is only a small subset of the article content to which you have access at BC. To do a more comprehensive search for resources on theology, you will need to use some of the other sources highlighted in this video. To search for articles on the BC Library's website, simply limit the search to articles. You can then further narrow your search by selecting facets in the right-hand column of the results page. Note that you can limit your search to peer-reviewed journals and by journal title. Some of the search results you will retrieve may be reviews or dissertations. If you do not want those to be returned, select Articles as the material type. Once you have retrieved a search result that looks promising, click on the Find Online link next to the entry to access the record for the article. Then, under the Find Online section, you will find a direct link to the full text. To do a more comprehensive search of published articles, you will need to search the specialized databases to which the libraries subscribe. Determining which database to use, though, can be overwhelming, as BC subscribes to hundreds and hundreds. For that reason, librarians in all disciplines have developed research guides to point you towards databases they recommend for particular topics. These research guides can be especially helpful if you are doing interdisciplinary research and are not familiar with the best sources for other disciplines. To locate these research guides, go to the landing page on the BC Library's website and click on the link for Research Guides. From there, you will be taken to a page listing all the research portals for the different subject areas. Each of these portal pages contain links to research guides for related topics. For instance, depending on your area of interest, you may want to check out the portal pages on education, data and statistics, philosophy, psychology, social work, sociology and anthropology, and others. For resources on theology, of course, the Theology Ministry portal will be of interest to you. Here, when you click on the link to the portal, you will discover you can go two different routes. The link on the left will lead you to resources for students studying theology in the Morrissey School of the Arts and Sciences. The link on the right will lead you to resources for students at the School of Theology and Ministry or at St. John's Seminary. Both guides will contain information that you are likely to find helpful. In viewing this video, you may have already accessed the Theology and Ministry portal and viewed the key resources or recommended databases listed there. It is always good to revisit this portal from time to time as the TML staff update it periodically as new resources are acquired. Many of the key databases in theology and related disciplines are published either on the EBSCO or ProQuest platforms. And so we are going to look at general search tips for using those platforms, which will help get you started with your research. These platforms cannot be searched on the open web, but must be accessed through the libraries. You access them by either clicking on a link provided in a research guide or entering the database title into the search box on the library's website. Here is a table of databases featuring information on discipline and platform. First, we will review the EBSCO platform, which hosts the following databases: the Atla Religion Database, which is the most comprehensive database in theology, BC's own New Testament abstracts, Old Testament abstracts, Education Source, and the Philosopher's Index with full text. The content we will cover on the EBSCO platform will include the advanced search view and searchable fields, keyword searching, subject searching and using the thesaurus, limiters for narrowing searches, searching within a publication, indexes, and also we will do a brief overview of some database-specific features that you may find helpful. When you look at the interfaces for databases published on the EBSCO platform, you will discover that they look fairly similar. Each one opens to an advanced search view, which provides a series of drop-down menus and search boxes that allow you to search fields in a variety of combinations. The field drop-down menus often contain an extensive menu of options, which can almost be overwhelming. If you have questions about what each of these options are, you can always consult the help guide in the upper toolbar. Once you have clicked on the help link, navigate to the section on Database Help, click on the database name, and then click on the link for searchable fields. You will find a definition and example there. To do a keyword search against the entirety of a record for a resource in an EBSCO database, leave the field drop-down menu on its default setting, which is simply labeled Select a Field. You can then enter the keyword or combination of words into the search box or into multiple search boxes and separate them with Boolean operators. You may use Boolean operators within the search box and by using the drop-down menus provided. To search a phrase, enclose the words in double quotation marks and use an asterisk as a truncation operator to search for different spellings or declensions of a word. When you are ready to search by subject heading on the EBSCO platform, you can do so in a number of ways. One way is to simply click on a subject link that appears in a record. When you search in this way, it will do a new search only for records that contain that subject heading. If you want to combine it with any other terms or subject headings, you will need to add those terms to the search box and perform a search again. You can also search by subject heading using the drop-down menu in the advanced search box and setting it to SU subject. Some databases have multiple types of subjects, such as personal names, geographic areas, topics, etc. In the Atla Religion database, the SU subject option will search across all of these multiple subject fields, regardless of type, and so it is a good place to start when you want to do a broader search. Sometimes you may attempt to search by subject, but find that the term you are using is not retrieving the types of results you had hoped to get. A number of EBSCO databases have a thesaurus that you can search in these instances to check and see if you are using the proper term. To search the thesaurus, enter the subject term you wish to look up into the Browse box. Click on Browse, and then check the list of terms below. Here we can see that the term entered, Eucharist, was not the subject heading within the database because the thesaurus is telling us to use Lord's Supper for that concept instead. If you click on Lord's Supper, it will take you to a screen where you can select the heading and add it to your search. The EBSCO interface also offers a number of limiters that can help narrow your search. Many of these limiters can be selected on the advanced search page as you formulate your query, but you can also choose to apply the limiters after you've performed your search and need to prune the results. To apply the limiters, select from the options in the left-hand column. Some categories may need to be expanded to see the full menu. Note that a number of databases allow you to limit your search to content within journals that are peer-reviewed or that are available in full text. These can be helpful ways to narrow your searches, but it is often better to apply them after you browse through your search results initially to make sure you do not lose items that are pertinent to your topic. Some content that is scholarly is not always peer-reviewed, and though content may not be available in full text in the database, it can often be accessed through the Find It at BC button. Another feature to note on the EBSCO interface is the Publications tool. This interface is helpful in providing information on publications and enabling the user to limit a search to the contents of a journal. To access it, click on Publications in the upper toolbar of the Advanced Search screen and enter the publication you are seeking into the Browse box and hit Browse. Then click on the title of the publication. You will then be taken to a profile page for that journal. If you'd like to search within a particular issue, click on the year for that issue in the right column and select the one you want from the expanded menu. You can then browse through the issue's contents by scrolling through the search results or enter additional terms into the search box to focus on a smaller set of content. It is also possible to search within the publication as a whole by either clicking on the link Search Within This Publication on the journal's profile page, or entering the search tag JN followed by the journal's name enclosed with double quotation marks into the search box on the Advanced Search screen. When you do this, note that the drop-down menu is set to the default value. One other feature on the EBSCO interface that is worth noting is the Indexes option that appears in the upper toolbar. If you click on that link, it will take you to a screen where you can select from a drop-down menu the index you would like to browse. The index contains a list of every entry for that particular field, and so it can be helpful at times if you are interested in seeing what kinds of entries exist. For example, you may be interested in seeing how the Quran is cited in the Atla Religion database, and you can see that by browsing through Quran citation here. To search on any entry in the browse, select the checkbox next to it and add it to your search. Lastly, some databases on the EBSCO platform have specific features that are worth mentioning. Education Source and the Philosopher's Index with full text each offer an option allowing you to search by cited references, much like Google Scholar, which we will discuss later in this video. To search by cited reference, click on the Cited References option in the upper toolbar. On this interface, you can search to see which items have cited particular works. The fields you can search are the cited work's author, title, the title of its host publication or source, and its publication date. You can also search all of these fields at once through the All Citation Fields option. Once you enter a term, you select the checkboxes next to the citing articles that you want to retrieve and hit Find Citing Articles. Note that if a checkbox does not appear next to a work, that work has not been cited by another work within the database. This feature can be helpful if you want to trace how a work has been discussed and how scholarly conversation has developed beyond a particular work. Another notable feature in the Atla Religion database, Old Testament abstracts, and New Testament abstract databases is the ability to search by Bible citation. This feature is available through the Scriptures link in the upper toolbar. To learn more about how to use this feature, check out the videos on the TML's YouTube channel. That concludes our discussion of the features on the EBSCO platform, and now we'll look at the ProQuest platform, which hosts these databases: ERIC, the American Psychological Association's PsycInfo, International Bibliography of Social Sciences, Sociological Abstracts, and ProQuest's Dissertations and Theses. The content on the ProQuest platform we will cover will include database search tips and help information, advanced search mode, thesaurus, limiters, and related items suggestions. One nice feature about the ProQuest platform is that it features database search tips and help information prominently on the advanced search page. On that page, you can click on Search Tips, which features an indexed list of search features that apply generally to all databases on the platform. You can also click on Field Codes, which contains a list of fields that are also common to all databases on the platform, as well as a list of database-specific field codes. It is good to read this help literature as you begin to use a database, as it can be helpful in refining your searches. The advanced search mode in ProQuest is similar to the one in EBSCO in that it provides a series of drop-down menus and search boxes that allow you to search fields in a variety of combinations. You are able to join search concepts with Boolean operators by choosing the operator you want in the drop-down menu, or you can enter the entire search query with the operator into a single search box. Similar to the EBSCO interface, to perform a keyword search against an entire database record, you can enter terms into the search box without specifying a field in the drop-down menu. Also within the search boxes, you can use wildcard and truncation characters to refine your searches. The details on these operators can be found in the wildcards and truncation section of the search tips file. Also similar to many databases on the EBSCO platform, databases on the ProQuest platform have thesauri to help you identify subject terms. Each database will have different subject terms that it uses, and so it's important to check the thesaurus to make sure you're using the proper one. To do that, click on the thesaurus link and then search for the term you are seeking. You can also page through to view the contents. If you search on a term that is not the authorized term, such as probationary period, the thesaurus will direct you to the term that you should use. In this case, the proper heading is academic probation. When you click on the authorized term, you may see two checkboxes that are labeled Explode and Major. When you select Explode, it broadens your search to include not only the term you have chosen from the thesaurus, but also all of the related terms that appear in the notes for that authorized term. When we explode the term academic probation, for example, we also will be searching the highlighted related terms that you see here, all joined with the OR Boolean operator. When you select Major, it narrows your search to only the instances where the authorized term has been identified as one of the major subjects of an item. Some databases, like PsycInfo, may offer two ways to view the terms within the thesaurus: through a hierarchical view and through a relational view. If you search for caffeine, for example, under the hierarchical view, you can see how the term is categorized under the larger category of drugs. Under the relational view, you can see the broader terms under which it is considered an immediate subcategory. These views can help you gather additional information on your topic and help provide you with other terms that might help broaden or otherwise modify your search. Limiters in ProQuest databases can also be very helpful ways to narrow your search. Keep in mind they are usually database specific, and while some can only be set through the initial advanced search view, others are able to be set before your search and as a filter on the search results page. It is helpful to browse through the options you have available to you before and after performing your search to see if any might be helpful to refine your results. For the more technical databases, like PsycInfo and ERIC, you may want to view either the literature that the APA or ProQuest has produced to define the fields and the individual limiter terms. Links to those files can be found in the TML research guide in which this video appears. Some noteworthy limiters in the ERIC database include the document type and education level. The document type specifies the type of the resource you are seeking. For example, if you are interested in limiting your search to article content, you would select articles. Education level describes the grade level that the resource is addressing. In PsycInfo, noteworthy limiters include record type, methodology, age group, target audience, locations, and tests and measures. The record type describes the type of resource you are seeking and is like the document type in ERIC. Methodology describes the type of methodology being employed in the study that is being discussed in the resource. A definition of these methodologies can be found on the American Psychological Association's website. Age group refers to the age of the group of people being studied, and target audience refers to the group to whom the item has been written. For example, some literature indexed in PsycInfo is written for children. Location refers to the geographic region being studied, and you can look up the terms used in that field by clicking on the link to the right of the search box. If you're interested in searching for studies done using a particular test instrument or form of measurement, you can use the Tests and Measures limiter. A list of possible values again appears through a link to the right of the search box. Finally, ProQuest's Dissertations and Theses database is a resource you are likely to consult if you want to view the full text of a thesis or dissertation that has been written. Many of BC's own theses and dissertations can be found here, as well as those from other schools. Here you can limit your search by thesis advisor, by the academic institution for which the thesis was written, and by the manuscript type, that is, whether it was for a master's or doctoral program. Note that for many of these limiters, there is a link to the right of the search box where you can browse through the list of available terms. One last noteworthy feature on the ProQuest platform that you may have use of is the related items list that appears in the right column when you click on the record for any resource. This feature suggests other items that you might find relevant to your topic and is worthwhile to browse if you are interested in discovering other potential sources. That concludes our discussion of databases on the ProQuest platform. We'll now briefly look at another means by which you can gather additional sources for your research projects, and that is by browsing through bibliographies. Bibliographies can be found either as the list of resources used in a particular publication, or they can be published separately as a resource highlighting the noteworthy publications in a given area. Both can be useful to you. If you have found a solid source for your project, you may want to consult the bibliography and examine some of the resources that were used in support of its arguments, so that you can better understand it and assess them independently. Sometimes you may want to use those sources yourself. Separately published bibliographies can also alert you to important works in your area of study, and they can be found by limiting search results in the BC Library catalog to bibliography using the genre limiter in the bottom of the right column. You can also search for bibliography in the title of a work. It is best to limit the dates of publication to a more recent range if you are primarily interested in consulting more recent scholarship. Note that the Oxford Bibliographies in Biblical Studies and in Philosophy might be of use to you. These contain large sets of bibliographies on a variety of subtopics, and the citations are linked to the BC catalog for easy finding. While a bibliography can alert you to important resources that shaped a particular work, citation tracing tools can help you see how that work has impacted subsequent scholarship. Google Scholar and the Arts and Humanities Citation Index enable you to see where an item has been cited by other works. In each of these resources, you simply type the title of the article you're interested in searching, and you will retrieve a number for the times an item has been cited. If you click on that number, it will list those citing sources. As mentioned earlier, the Philosopher's Index on the EBSCO interface has the ability to search by cited references. A ProQuest database that also links to cited references is Sociological Abstracts. There you can see what works have cited an article by clicking on the Cited By link. It is often best to use a number of these tools to do citation tracing, as sometimes one resource will find additional citations that the other has not indexed. So if you search for citations in the Arts and Humanities Citation Index, say, you may want to also try searching the title of the article in Google Scholar to see what results it gives. That wraps up this tutorial. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please contact the staff at the Theology and Ministry Library.